All right, well, we'll go ahead and get started. Again, just want to be cognizant of everybody's time, and I know a lot of people have a lot of things going on, so we'll go ahead and get started. So for everyone attending, welcome. My name is Luke Bollinger. I'm the Community Partnership and Special Projects Manager for the Town of Erie Parks and Recreation Department, and seemingly what seems like the record holder for longest title at the town. Thanks for being with us tonight as we embark on this project of replacing playground equipment at Country Fields Park Playground. So this is what we do in Parks and Recreation. We love what we do. We're very excited to undertake this project this year. So I'd like to take a quick opportunity to thank the Erie Parks and Recreation team for all their hard work so far on this project. It's been a great project so far. We've had a lot of great input, a lot of great discussion. So thank you to Rachel, Mike, Darren, Chandra, Lisa, who's unable to join us tonight, and of course Cindy. So also a special thanks to Christy Schaefer, who is on the panel tonight. She's with slidesandsunshine.com. She's also been part of this process. So if you haven't checked it out, slidesandsunshine.com provides reviews of playgrounds all across the Front Range and beyond. So if you're looking for your next playground destination, check out slidesandsunshine.com. So thank you, Christy, for being part of our process for sure. So going to do some quick housekeeping and go through the projects really quickly. So this meeting format will be more of a presentation. As much as we'd love to be doing this face-to-face, which we talked a little bit about before the meeting started, makes a little bit more difficult these days, and hopefully wrapping up soon. But this will be a more of a presentation type meeting, but we do encourage you to use the chat function or the Q&A function as part of the Zoom call here. We have somebody monitoring that, so we'll be able to address your questions as they come in, and then we'll pause briefly to address those questions throughout the presentation. So again, use those Q&A and the chat functions, and our monitor will do his best to answer those questions as they come up. So thank you, Darren, for doing that. Another important component of this meeting are the poll questions. We're going to have 4 poll questions, so make sure you're paying attention. Those are actually really important. It's really going to guide how we put this playground together. So if you've gone to our Engage Erie page, you've seen a couple of concepts, but that's not necessarily what we're going to put here. Those were just more examples that our consultant put together. So those poll questions are really going to help drive what we put here. So obviously here tonight we're going to discuss some new playground components for Country Fields Park Playground. It's located at 1801 Tynan Drive, which is about 3,200 square feet in size. And currently the playground has a small set of swings, 2 small structures, and a small bouncer. And I'm going to do the totally Zoom thing and tell you I'm going to share my screen. Let's go to the right one. I just want to pull up just so everybody has an idea of what we're talking about. This is Country Fields Park Playground right here. You have the shelter, which is on the north side. We're looking south right now. We have Tynan Drive along here on the south, and you can see the structures here. So it's a pretty small footprint. It is a neighborhood park. So neighborhood park is obviously owned and maintained by the town of Erie. Its primary function is to serve that surrounding neighborhood. So it's not going to be as big as an Erie Community Park, which is a regional park intended to serve obviously the entire community. So before we kind of get into the presentation, just want to talk a little bit about the consultant selection process. So a few weeks ago, the town launched an extensive request for a proposal process. We received 6 proposals. We interviewed 3 firms, and we evaluated them on a variety of factors, and ultimately decided on Star Playgrounds, who's with us tonight, and they're going to be really driving the bus on this presentation. So I will turn it over to Brian and Aaron.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you, Luke. So Luke mentioned we're Star Playgrounds. My name is Brian.
I'm Aaron.
Yeah. I've been with Star Playgrounds working on my 6th year now. It was a pleasure designing this playground. As Luke had mentioned, it's It's about an average or slightly above average size play area. And we're just excited to kind of show you and collaborate with the town of Erie to come up with a super cool design.
Yeah, I'm Chief Operating Officer. I've been here about 10 years. Happy to work at a family-owned business and taking over it myself. So you're stuck with me no matter what for the long haul, guys, up in Erie. So, yeah. Should we start sharing, Luke? Ready for us? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Let's do that. Screen 2. We can all see this? Perfect. Go ahead, Brian.
So I guess the intention of today's community engagement meeting is to specifically focus on the play equipment within the immediate play area. So we're gonna, I guess, kind of talk to you about how our process begins during a play area design. There are some things that we have to keep in mind, such as what's required of the whole project process. The first step is going to be the removal and disposal of the current playground equipment and the safety surfacing. So you guys have a combination of engineered wood fiber or wood chips and some pour in place rubber. We also do have to keep in mind costs for the new safety surfacing. So whether it's going to be all engineered wood fibers or pour in place, that'll kind of affect what the end design looks like.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We both have it here. Well, just to give you guys an idea of safety surfacing, we're going to circle back around to it. The engineered wood fiber, if you went 100% engineered wood fiber in this playground, it would equal about 6% of the total project budget. So we have to work backwards from kind of knowing where the priorities lie with your safety surfacing preferences. Brian's going to go through kind of the example designs that he submitted with the bid, and you'll see kind of one that has 100% engineered wood fiber and one that has a combination. But we saw in the survey and some of the questions that were already answered, you know, no wood chips, no sand, no, nothing like that. But we just wanted to kind of make sure everyone was aware that if we were to go with 100% rubber surfacing for that square footage, it would be more than 58% of the budget, just in the surfacing side of it, roughly about $76,000. So we kind of take all that into account before we can even start putting in and selecting playground equipment. So this was just kind of a way to show you that. And that underneath that rubber surface, there's a lot more layers that go underneath that we have to consider and put into the price, which is a compacted road base layer. We have to bring in fill dirt to kind of bring that up. So that's also part of the considerations when we're looking at that safety servicing.
And so part of the reason why we wanted to share this information with you all is because we want to give context to what things kind of cost in designing this play area. As Aaron said, if we wanted to go 100% pour in place rubber, it's going to be over half of what the budget is. So the budget for the Country Fields playground renovation is going to be $130,000. So as Aaron mentioned, you know, that's 100% rubber is 58% of that, $76,000. What that means is that if we place the majority of the budget in rubber surfacing, it kind of limits the quality, or not the quality, but I guess the coolness factor or the amount of play equipment that we can include in the design. So as Aaron said, these are the two options that we submitted when we were bidding on this project. We wanted to submit an option with 100% engineered wood fiber. As you can kind of see, that's option 1 on the left side. It's sorry, no, it's a design that you can kind of put a little more emphasis on the playground equipment, so you're able to spend a little more of your budget on that design. And you're just able to offer a little more play equipment if you kind of worry about the play equipment versus the surfacing, as we mentioned already. Option 2 is going to be on the right-hand side. You can kind of see from this view that it is a very combination of 2 surfacings. So it is pour-in-place rubber and the engineered wood fibers. Doing so kind of limits the play equipment. Again, you're kind of spending more of your money or more of your budget on the surfacing versus the play equipment.
The options.
Oh, sure.
It just, that link doesn't seem to be working. So, let me pull that up. Hold on one second, guys. Our, of course, technical difficulties. My link's not working, but that's why we have them in PDF form. I'll show you here. Brian's going to kind of take you through these options a little bit deeper. Let me get that shared on the right screen for you. 1 second. Zoom pick up. Okay, so we can't. Those PDFs aren't opening. Should we move on?
We'll do that first poll question.
Yeah, let's just go there for now.
Okay.
I can't see. Okay.
There we go. We got the poll question up.
Great.
So in just reading that, where your priorities with the type of safety surfacing for the park. It's going to be easy. There's only 3 people in the poll, so we'll be good. And we'll leave it up for 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Thank you for voting. Share results. And looks like we had 1 vote for EWF, and it sounds like a combo of EWF and pour-in-place. One out on that one.
Here we go. And again, these polls and these kind of questions are to get the general idea and the feeling and kind of where the priorities lie. So that way, when we go back in for redesign, we can really focus on what you're looking for first. And we're not just shooting in the dark in terms of kind of design and things like that. Here we go.
Are there any questions in the chat that we needed to answer?
Yeah, no questions at this time.
Okay.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, so I guess we're going to move on to specific themes that the community might want to see in our final design. We kind of categorize them into 3 different areas. Kind of more, the first would be more of a modern design. Second would be more of a traditional post and platform, kind of like what you go and see at your everyday playground. And then the third one is kind of something totally out of the box. Think no play equipment at all, but maybe some sort of electronic outdoor play that's very interactive and engages multiple age groups. So when we talk about modern, as you can kind of see in the slide, I'm sure that you might notice some playgrounds are kind of gearing towards this now. You're trying to kind of revamp or start to build upon the more traditional post and platform options that you kind of go see at most playgrounds. So it's more than just your traditional swings, slides. You're really trying to offer a lot of climbing, a lot of motor skill development, and as you can kind of see, it might be geared towards the older age group, but there are still some play events that are applicable to the younger age groups as well.
And then the second theme and feeling would be more of your traditional post and platform. but can be themed or have, we can use color as a way to theme in that kind of a way, but you're looking at more traditional play activity. It's kind of more structured play. I think you can do it, but you might have seen it before. And with the budget that we have too, it's not going to be super crazy themed because that can increase the budget significantly, but there are ways to do it in more of a traditional kind of way with the posting platform.
So this theme would specifically be more on like a country fields theme. We could do post toppers that are prairie flower wild theme. Just adding some things like color, some graphics in the pour and plays kind of really do make a difference and kind of set the tone for what the theme in the specific play area could be. And then the third category here is something that's completely out of the box. What you're seeing here, we call it, so Yelp is a company that we recently partnered with. It's place spelled backwards. So when you think about it that way, it's a little less weird.
Yeah.
And it's this arch is called the Sona. As you can kind of see, kids are kind of playing on that graphic surface there. And what they're playing is kind of with a software that's specifically for that arch. It's very interactive, and it allows, as you can kind of see in that image on the left side, it allows multiple users to play at one time. So there are a variety of games that the users can choose from. And it's just a completely kind of new thing that you're gonna probably start seeing at playgrounds in the near future.
Yeah, we really like this piece. It doesn't take up a huge area in the play space, and so that's why we were saying it's something out of the box. And if it's what the neighborhood is going to gravitate towards, we would kind of design around that as its central theme and piece. It comes loaded with 5 games, and then there's back end credits. The town and stuff can choose the time and turn it on and off at certain times. It's not too loud for neighbors, although this park is set pretty far back, I think, from the closest neighbor in that way. But all the sound comes to the middle of the arch. It's one button, highly unvandalizable in that kind of a way. There's some more upsetting videos about, people hitting these things with bats and things like that. So we like it. It's cool, and wanted to kind of show it as something you don't usually see out in parks. So that was our out of the box kind of option. Second poll. So based on the themes presented, what would be your preference to see at this park? More of the modern kind of free play, climbing, maybe getting into the height and things like that? Kind of an idea of a theme on traditional post and platform structures, or would you want to see something really out of the box? So that's your time to kind of direct us to where we should go and change and start and modify with that.
Hey, Erin, before we go to the poll and Luke,
Yeah.
We did have a question come in, which may affect the voting. So the question from Christine is, would the out of the box be the only thing at the playground? Or
No.
is that in addition to more traditional playground features?
Yes, great question. Sorry, that would be kind of your main budget item, so that would be where we would start. And then we would still continue to put more traditional play. I'm not going to use the term dumbed down, but it would be less equipment, probably less of the big rope climbing structures, things like that. So it'd be still swings could fit. There's still stuff that could fit around that. But it does take up, because it's electronic, it does take up a little bit of the budget in terms of getting it in there. But yes, other equipment does still fit around it.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, back to the poll question, which we can't vote.
No.
I'll reshare the results here.
Oh, okay. Sorry, we missed that.
We had 67% for the
Urban
modern, and then we'll go for the traditional.
I agree. You two are going to win anything you want at this park. Just letting you know, you 2 out of 3 who keep voting. That's great. We like it. Cool. Okay. Awesome. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the survey results that we saw based on kind of the surveys. This is how it got ranked in terms of the types of play that we want to see, which actually would, based on the images we showed of kind of more of the modern stuff, climbing's number 1, swinging, sliding, then some spinning, monkey bars, and balancing. That's awesome. And we noticed in a lot of the comments that shade's very important, because you can tell that's very exposed in terms of a park. Swings got brought up a whole bunch. Zip lines also got brought up, and then the surfacing was a concern, which is why we kind of asked that question to begin with in there. And then a splash pad, which I'm not sure at this time this park is slated for the splash pad, but it did not fall on deaf ears, and I know the city of Erie was absolutely paying attention, and I'm sure have it in their conversations to kind of do this. So not to burst the bubbles, but there will be no water elements at this park at this time. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about swings and kind of give you guys a visualization, same type of thing, to kind of see where your swing preferences are. We had a lot of comments saying, if you don't put in more than 2 swings, I will be very angry. And so we were just kind of pulling this out there. Swings have the biggest use zone, and it's a no overlap use zone. And all that means is it takes up a lot more space than what they look in real life. But in terms of our drawing sake, this is kind of what we have to deal with and how much space they take up. So the top left corner is 1 bay of swings with 2 seats, and we cannot mix a belt seat and a tot seat together. So it would either need to be 2 tot seats or 2 belt seats. And then you can see what 4 seats look like, which takes up a decent amount of that space. And that's over in the top right-hand corner. The bottom left-hand corner has 2 belt seats and a toddler arm extension, which takes up obviously a little less space. And then we have a dish swing, and we wanted to know if that's enough of a swinging activity in order to kind of get the space and room in terms of use zones and also budget. Is that enough of a swinging activity in there? Oh, go ahead.
So yeah, just to add on to what Aaron already mentioned here, one of the challenges that we face and whenever we're designing a play space is the amount of space that we have to work with. And as you can kind of see, these swings, the more you add onto them, the more space you take in the play area, which kind of limits the other events that you're able to include. So I guess that was our intention here in this slide, kind of showing you, hey, this is how much a set of swing bay, how much space it'll take up. So we kind of have to use that space wisely.
So now we're on to our 3rd poll question. What level of swing are you okay with? You have to have that 4 seat minimums, which is 2 bays, meaning 2 belt seats and 2 top seats. The 2 belt seats with the toddler arm extension, or I'm okay with a dish swing due to space and budget. So we'd like to, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Erin, we have another question. How many people can fit in the dish swing from Christine?
Well, I'm supposed to tell you 4 to 6, although I have seen quite a bit more, if that's the answer to that.
No.
And the only thing about the dish swing, I'll tell you that there is a limitation in terms of really young children who need that extra support to sit back in that seat. So the really young ones, unless you lay them down and they're very comfortable with it, that is geared definitely once they're 1.5 and sitting up on their own. The sway is really nice for them, and obviously the older kids use it more like a surfboard, which totally fine to do in that kind of way too. But it does have that limitation for the littles who need that kind of extra support on the backside.
But it is a great opportunity for parents to swing along with, parents or caregivers to swing along with their children. So yeah, even adults can get on them as well.
Perfect. Thanks again.
So I'll share the results here from that poll.
All right. It is 2 against 1, no matter who's voting. I love it. Good. No even answers. Thank you. That works for me. Okay. The other thing that got brought up a bunch was a zip line. So we just kind of wanted to show you what a zip line would look like in the current space. You can take this one.
Yeah. Again, space constraints is a challenge that we deal with. So we did look at the surveys and we did want to address the want for a zip line. We currently offer 3 options. So you can kind of see that large zip line that we have there. It currently, if we were to include it in a play design, it requires over 100 feet in space. So you can kind of see that it's already too large for the space that we have at Country Fields. The second option, the one in the middle, we call that our Zoom tracks. And as you can kind of see, it does actually fit within the space that's already there at Country Fields. But just like the swings, if we were to include this item, it kind of takes up a majority of the space, and you're kind of limited on the other play events that you're able to include there. Our third option is we call it, and you can kind of see the image. It's on the lower right hand side of this slide. You can actually attach this piece to your traditional post and platform structures, or you can have it stand alone there. It's not quite as long and probably not as exciting in that way. But if you are trying to still kind of address that want or that need for a zip line, that thrill, that is a good option to include within the confines of this footprint.
Hey Brian, I've got a question here. I like how you put the zip lines in that kind of order, but that smaller run, did you mention how many feet of travel that is on that smaller piece?
12 to 15.
12 to 15. Okay.
Yeah, it's small. We can use it between 2 decks, as a bridge activity. It also is only for 1 kid at a time. So that does limit the number of users and takes a lot of space for kind of a 1 user activity. But that's why we're just trying to get an idea of, if this is super important, that's going to be the focus of kind of what we do. I don't have a poll question about this one. It was more just informational about how big zip lines are in that.
And so, yeah, again, reiterating, we wanted to show how much space these a zip line type feature is going to take up, and I guess trying to get a good feel for is this really something that's super important or that the community really wants, now knowing that what the constraints are with them.
Like I said, we didn't have a poll question about that one. So if it's really important, put it in the chat that you really need a zip line, and we will consider it.
Erin, just one quick question, if I can. The question was, is there a seat on the small zip line?
No, on the smallest option there's no seat. It's just an overhead handle. On the middle option there, called the Zoom tracks, that does have a seat. It could even have an ADA accessible seat. But again, it is a 1 user activity, even with a seat on it too.
Perfect, thank you.
This is probably one of my most favorite part of designing a playground is choosing the colors. If you're really kind of tight on a budget, but you can still really theme a playground just by choosing the right colors. If you want to do like a natural tone, you can kind of see that lower left hand option there. If you want to do like a bright, fun, even modern looking playground, I think the colors will definitely help set the tone. in that lower right-hand option. And the middle one is just, the brighter the colors, the funner they are. I've heard people say, hey, I want to go to the lime green playground where all the lime green slides are. And parents just kind of know what their kids are talking about, because, you typically don't see playgrounds with such bright colors, but every once in a while you might catch one.
So that leads us to our fourth and final poll. What is your color preference? What would you guys like to see at your neighborhood park? More of the bright, fun, and whimsical, natural, what we mean is tans and greens, or kind of a modern, sleek, maybe some metallic grays with a pop of color, but something more kind of in that vein too.
Okay, let me share the results on this guy.
Bright, fun, and whimsical.
Yeah.
Brian talked you into it. Cool. That's all that we had in terms of kind of what we were looking for feedback, and a little bit more information about the play components and things like that. Questions and answers. Luke, back to you.
Well, thanks, Brian and Aaron. Much appreciated. That was a fantastic presentation, and I think what's going to be most valuable is we're going to be able to share this on our pages for folks who won't be able to join us tonight. So I think it's going to be a valuable resource. And looking at our attendee list, I'd be happy to open it up if any of our attendees have any questions. There's a raise hand function in Zoom. So if you guys have any guys or gals have any other questions or concerns at this time, we'd be happy to address them. Otherwise, I think you guys did a fantastic job in presenting, and we have some really good options to work out. So I'll just leave it open for just a couple minutes. If any of our participants have any questions, as soon as I figure out where my participant was, there it is.
April says, zip lines are my kid's favorite, but I wouldn't want the little one. So I'd be okay without it if the rest is awesome. Cool. Great.
Yeah, that's great feedback. And we do have two very excellent zip lines over at Clayton Park in the Erie Highlands neighborhood, April, if you didn't know that. So I've actually tested them myself, so I can guarantee that they're super fun. So, and I'm sure Christy can verify that as well. So, okay. Well, thanks everybody for hopping on. I'll go ahead and close the webinar out, and hopefully we'll see you at the next meeting. I should probably gotta go over the next steps. That's probably that's actually my next section here. So yep, Luke, wrap up and next steps. So definitely I'm gonna hopefully share if I can do it. Yep, I can. All right. Just a quick pitch here for Erie. erieco.us/countryfields is the URL for our Engage Erie page. Here you can submit your own ideas. We've had a lot of great submissions so far on what people are thinking about, not only for Country Fields Playground, but for playgrounds in general. So some great feedback here. You can take our survey, which Brian and Aaron shared a little bit of those results, or you can start a discussion forum here as well. Our contact information on here, we've got FAQs, we've got all kinds of great information on erieco.us/countryfields. So I know Christy's done a great job in sharing that page with her followers, and we hope that everybody can hop on and share your ideas. So with that, thanks everybody for hopping on, and we'll see you at the playground.